Whose child are you? Jingrui could hardly conceal his astonishment as he asked loudly, but upon further thought, he changed his question. Which household servant are you? Who has been hitting you so often? No one. The child immediately denied. It hasn't happened for many years, this is from before. Even if it was before, tell me who did it? Jingrui, Su gently intervened. Do not ask further, this child's ribs may not be broken, but there are likely cracks. Let's take him back to the manor and find a doctor to examine him carefully. And those books, bring them all in. It seems the child is deeply concerned about his books. He was not wrong in his observation, for as soon as the boy saw all his books being brought in, he visibly relaxed and pleaded softly, I'm fine, please let me down, I can go back on my own. Where are you going back to? Jingrui seized the opportunity to inquire further. The boy's reaction seemed extremely sharp, and he immediately lowered his head. Are these books all yours to read? Su flipped through the pile of books, asking gently. Perhaps it was because of his inherently gentle and elegant demeanor that put people at ease. The boy looked up at him and seemed to calm down a bit, answering softly, some are. Some. I still can't understand. How old are you? 11. What's your name? The boy paused for a long time, so long that one might think he wouldn't answer, before he finally uttered woodenly, Tingxing. What is your surname? I don't have a surname, just Tingxing. Su once again scrutinized the child carefully. Although his cheeks were red and swollen, and his features youthful, one could still see that his brows and eyes were quite handsome. From the beginning, his speech and demeanor were very submissive, showing no intention to resist any unfair treatment. Yet, strangely enough, there was not a trace of servility to be felt from him. It was as if his bones carried a certain bloodline and tenacity that, no matter how much he was humiliated, could not make him become humble. Tingxing, if we were to let you go now, would there be someone to find a doctor for you when you return? Tingxing pursed his lips, evidently having no definite answer and unwilling to lie. In that case, we must first take you to where we are staying, and after the doctor has examined you and confirmed that you are fine, we will send you back. Is that acceptable? Tingxing lowered his head and remained silent, his eyebrows knitted tightly together. Would our good intentions bring you trouble? Tingxing's heart palpitated, and he bit his lip firmly. Did you come out alone? No, there's another one. Where is that person? They ran away first. If you return late, will someone hit you? A trace of coldness flashed in Tingxing's eyes as he shook his head. Not anymore, it's just that there will be no food to eat. Jingrui felt a surge of righteous anger and exclaimed, They don't give you food? Whose family are you from? Why would you go back to such treatment? Tell me, I can help you, you can come to our house, at least there's food to eat. Tingxing raised his eyes, his gaze possessing a maturity and calmness beyond his years. Do you pity me and want to take me in? Jingrui was taken aback and explained somewhat awkwardly, No. I mean, I have no right to be taken in, I must return to that place. If I could be taken in, someone would have been willing to do so long ago. Do you have a contract selling yourself? Jingrui guessed. Who did you sell yourself to? Tell me, I can negotiate. Tingxing lowered his eyes indifferently. No, that won't work. Do you know who he is? Su looked into the child's eyes. His father is a marquis, his mother is a princess, he is a person of high status. In Jinling City, no matter which family you sold yourself to, as long as he steps in to negotiate, your former master would not dare to disrespect him. Do you understand? Tingxing still kept his head down, insisting, no, that won't work. Su and Jingrui exchanged glances. Just as they were about to say more, the coachman outside shouted, "Young master, we have arrived at the manor. Come, let us go inside first." Jingrui leaped down from the carriage, cradling the child in his arms, and instructed the servants who came to greet them, "Summon a physician." Su followed, bending down to exit the carriage, his hands dragging the weighty bundle of books, wondering how such a small child could carry them. "I'll take them," said Jingrui as he approached, but an attentive servant had already rushed forward to relieve him of the burden. Jingrui then extended his arm, allowing Su to lean on him as he disembarked from the vehicle. Tingxing's gaze swiftly darted to the plaque above the mansion's entrance, which read Duke of Ninggua's residence, a shadow momentarily flickering across his eyes. Although he quickly lowered his head once more, this subtle change in expression did not escape Su's keen observation. Upon arriving at the snow cottage with the child, a physician was promptly summoned to examine him. The diagnosis revealed a dislocated rib, necessitating rest and nourishment. The child was strictly forbidden from engaging in any physical labor, lest his delicate body suffer lasting consequences. One glance at Tingxing's appearance made it clear that his current living conditions were far from ideal. If he were to return to such an environment, it was doubtful that he could adhere to either of the doctor's orders. However, no matter how persistently Jingrui questioned him, Tingxing refused to reveal even a single detail about his residence. In contrast, Su was not as impatient. He simply arranged for delicacies to be brought to Tingxing and encouraged him to rest. When he noticed that the boy's unease prevented him from sleeping, Su selected a book and began to assess Tingxing's current level of knowledge, one page at a time. "You didn't have a teacher to teach you how to read, did you?" "Who taught you to recognize characters?" "My mother." Su pondered for a moment. It seemed that although the child had a desire to learn, his education was quite superficial and disordered. Even the books he had bought were haphazard, varying in depth and difficulty. It didn't seem like someone knowledgeable had recommended them to him. He had most likely chosen them himself. However, it was unclear where he got the money to buy them. "Tingxing, this is not the proper way to study." Su patiently organized the large pile of books for him and fetched many more from his own room, arranging them in a proper order. "You should start with these books. They cover the basics, with simple and clear sentence structures and literary styles, as well as clear principles for human conduct. Just like building a house, the foundation must be solid to prevent the structure above from becoming crooked. If you read indiscriminately without truly understanding the meaning, it will only lead to a distorted character. There are also these books, which are excellent, but you are young and may not be able to recognize all the characters. Without someone to explain, you won't be able to understand them. Set them aside for now, and when the opportunity arises, feel free to come and ask me." Tingxing's eyes lit up immediately, but just as quickly, they dimmed again. Instinctively, he knew that the older brother before him must be a very knowledgeable person, but the idea of frequently coming to this deeply aristocratic residence to consult with him was utterly impossible. "Thank you." Tingxing stood up and deeply bowed to the two of them. "May I leave now?" "You, this child." Jingrui looked at him with a bit of a headache. "You already had a lot of books, and now Mr. Su has given you so many more. How can you carry them all?" Tingxing glanced at the small mountain-like pile of books, not wanting to leave a single one behind. Biting his teeth, he bravely declared, "I can carry them." "Don't be reckless," Jingrui hurriedly stopped him. "You're injured, and you can't exert brute force like this." Let me have someone send you, all right? Tingxing resolutely shook his head. Jingrui was at a loss with this child and couldn't help but cast a helpless gaze towards Su. Su pondered for a moment. Just as he was about to speak, a clear reprimand suddenly came from outside the snow cottage. It was Felia's voice, followed by someone shouting, "Young master, you mustn't hit, this one is."